Good morning. Hi. I am trying to do a little experiment here. I'm I have I just finished a 40-minute talk and I'm trying not to breathe a little bit, like I usually do. I usually very much, and I'm going to take my fingertip oximeter and tell you what this is. It works. Looks like it's working. And then we're going to oxygenate because I did it a little while ago. It was at 97. We wanted it at 99. We wanted it. Too bad you can't get 100. So I'll wait for this. I'm trying to develop an ear cuff oximeter that vibrates. Never mind, I'm still at 97. So you know what? Very little oxygen is needed in the fingers. And I intentionally kind of held my breath for the last 2 minutes, and I'm still doing it. So I would imagine my brain is starting to say, hey, in fact, I can feel it say, you need to breathe. That's the way it starts, because in the 2 minutes since I kind of held my breath, carbon dioxide is built up. So the first thing the body wants to do is kick it out, right? And then we're going to flip into the oxygenated paradigm. Wow, what an experiment. And I kind of did this because I've kind of covered a lot of bases in the PROoxia series. Get the carbon dioxide out. It's a good start. You can do that by laughing. I was just up in the Hamptons. Nobody was laughing. What? But I give you permission to laugh. Find something to laugh at. Go to, I don't know, they have these laughing circles. But developing a sense of humor is a great way to start laughing more. A good one, nice humanitarian kind one. So now I'm feeling like I'm able to come back into my pro-oxic self. It doesn't take long. It's 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes. I was like, okay, well, I'll breathe just minimal. I'll just breathe like most happy hypoxics breathe. There was no difference. I mean, I was oxygenated when I came up earlier to do my session. I was at 97, and I had a full session, didn't really talk about breathing too much. When you talk, you can talk and not breathe very much at all. You can rattle on, ta 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 ta, and that is an it becomes a hypoxic activity. It becomes a twitch type blathering. It happens all the time. If you go to meetings where there's no circulation, or you can tell the oxygen has been kind of used up in the room, and everyone is kind of zoning out after about 10 minutes. We can survive in a lower oxygen thing, but we not well. And the person who is talking doesn't seem to be able to stop or wrap it up. That is hypoxia. So I just did I think it was a 40-minute session on the latest findings in COVID, and talked a lot. And then when that ended, I thought, well, I'm going to do my PROoxia and kind of try to not breathe as I usually do. Because usually all that matters is what you do in that next breath. And that is what matters. Long neck, loose shoulders, loose jaw. Hold the breath 2 to 3 seconds. It takes 2 to 3 seconds for the oxygen to diffuse and unload to the hemoglobin. That's what counted breathing is. 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, out 2, 3, 4. Olfactory breathing is one of the best ones. That is very, very evolutionary, because we didn't used to have grocery stores. We used to go out and find it, depending on what's growing. We didn't farm. There, I put some perfume on, pretend that's a piece of fruit. Is that edible? And I can tell that, I don't know if that's edible or not. I smell kind of perfume in it. You don't want to drink perfume. But I've got some watermelon downstairs and cucumber, that Trader Joe's cucumber lotion. You can smell the hydration in it. You're like, yes, that is, I wouldn't eat the cream, but the cucumber is edible. But this is an artificial thing. But basically, I inhale and I analyze. Same with we inhale or anything. It's not a whole lot to smell in here. And it's my office. I have a couple of, I have the perfume here for an example. Other things, but the ink on the pen, what is that made of? I mean, is it edible? Will it help? Is it healthy? Foraging for mushrooms, the main source of protein in our environment. We can smell it. If you're going on a walk, keep your nose out for mushrooms. And then if you smell it, you can sense that musty, humid, you have to forage for mushrooms. But that is a main source of protein for us. And our eukaryotic cells are very much paired quite exactly with the eukaryotic cell of the mushroom. We're on the same phylogenetic tree, just us and mushrooms evolving, right? So the bottom line is that measuring through the fingertip, these are twitch muscles. You can cut off the blood flow to the arm and the legs and certain other organs for hours and no damage. I think up to 6 hours, 4 to 6 hours, and no damage. You can cut off the oxygen to the brain 4 to 6 minutes and hopefully survive. But that's why I really have concerns about measuring brain oxygen through or low oxic, sometimes anoxic tissue. This is highly oxygenated. This is barely oxygenated. So it's very interesting that I was 97 before I did my 40-minute lecture. And when I saw 97, I thought, okay, tank up a little bit, do your lecture. And I did. And then afterwards, I thought, well, let me experiment. I'll take a 2-minute break and I'll barely breathe intentionally. And it was hard for me because I am an oxygen, I maintain that oxygen gradient. My brain, my body, and my functionality is dependent on that oxygen gradient because I practice PROoxia. And I encourage you to practice PROoxia. So long neck, loose jaw, loose shoulders. An easy way, just lift your arms up like we're stretching. Remember that those are big breaths and we hold it in for a couple seconds and we yawn. Good. Oh, that is a diffused big breath. The ribs are lifted off the lungs. So the lungs can expand even more and the diaphragm is pulled up on the east and west sides, right? Great. Monkeys in the tree. Monkeys in the tree. Yeah. We used to be on all fours. That's the big back breath. Huge original back breath. The COVID-19 survivor breath gets all that. It's a lot of surface area. Right? And then we swung from the trees, got more breath, and then we stood up, walking around the sternum. The sternum. La, 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 la. Free resonance, stimulating tissue, pushing that oxygen into the lungs. This goes, it feels like they're just cables lifting the sternum up. You can't do that without making that sound, without vocalizing. That's as far as it'll go. It immediately frees up. It's free now, and I can sing for a very long time. La, 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 la. Excellent, excellent. Evolved sternum breathing, which is not, it's still evolving. It's still evolving. We are still evolving in an oxygenated planet, which is not so oxygenated anymore. Enter COVID-19, happy hypoxics, obese, no activity, aging, all collapsed on their lungs, eating all the time, and you've got a glucose-dependent virus that is mutating to carry us into a future. I question if we really want it. I question if we really want it. It may be inevitable, but to understand the science of how this virus is moving in on a hypoxic, I'm collapsed. And I can go on and on and on and on and on and not make much sense. And, look how I've closed down. You can see it in my face, I guess. So what does that mean? What does that mean? What are we doing here? How can we at least understand and explore our options, explore our futures in light of an oxygenated evolution and a COVID-dominated hypoxic evolution? It looks like at this point, everyone's gonna get COVID. Some survive, some don't need the antibodies. Millions of years ago, everyone got mitochondria. Everything got mitochondria. Some thrived on it. Some, like civets and bats, stayed out of the sun, stayed hypoxic. So that's the evolutionary aspect of it. Back breath. Yeah. Yeah. One more. That's a big breath. Yeah. Lift those ribs off on the east-west side. And do something. Breath and function. It's not just breathing and getting dizzy. And that's what happens to me. I've been hypoxic a little bit. I'm a little dizzy now, but I'm not usually dizzy at all. I'm just functional. Function. And then the sternum, the north face of our evolution. So all fours, we get the south face of our evolution, the back. We hopped into those trees like the orangutans and monkeys that we understand our ancestors of sorts. We hung from those trees, yeah. And that's our east and west side and then we finally got out of the trees, stayed upright, and now we have a sternum level. So, which enables us to continue to evolve as oxygenated creatures. Okay, that's my breathe on takeaway for today. And thanks for letting me share a transient hypoxic episode. Whew, I don't like it. I didn't like that. I was uncomfortable. I was almost panicky. It activated my amygdala. And all that matters is what we do on the next full held breath. That is flow. That is evolution. That is naive evolution within a human lifespan. And I'll spend the next few minutes recovering from that transient hypoxia. I hope you do that and work with me as we move along. Bless you all. Have a great day.